What's going on, everyone? It's a Sunday. That's right, a Sunday edition of 27Q alongside that man who seems to be a little feisty and fired up on this Sunday morning, December 4th. Two-time Super Bowl champ, former great running back with the New York Football Giants, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. We got a lot of stuff to dive into. We're about 45 minutes East Coast time away from kickoff. Big game for the Giants, Washington, Jets, Minnesota. But we had to get the big man on. I'm not going to break his balls about what transpired in college football. I told him before we came on, I said, if he would have listened to me, he wouldn't have to worry about any more of that player pension with the NFL. You'd be living it.
You just said right before we started to record that you weren't going to say anything. And here you go talking about it. I'm like, damn, Richard just told me you wouldn't go even bring it up.
Hey, listen, I kid because I love, you know that. I mean, can we just a brief minute or two, please?
Go get it, man. Let's go.
Utah, USC, and can we just say it right now? No one is beating Georgia. Then I promise you, B, I will let it go.
No one's going to beat Georgia. No one's going to beat Georgia. Georgia is a powerhouse. They got everything. They got all three phases of the game. It's clicking, going pretty good for him. Our quarterback is playing out of his mind right now, playing some phenomenal football. The offensive line is protecting. They were running the ball really good. They just the passing game is really good. The defense aren't giving up too much. They're just playing, they're just playing great football right now at this time of year. And I guess that's the time where you need to be good. Now, LSU had some opportunity in the game.
Yes.
To not cover the spread, I guess. They got the ball down. First of all, they got a terrible spot on the one first down, and Georgia got the ball back. They fumbled. They turned the ball over twice in their own area of the field.
And the game got out of hand. Right?
Game got out of hand just that way. That's saying we lost on Friday.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I mean, so you guys are done? That was it?
We're done. We played. Kids went to the semifinals. Man, we lost 20-24 to Prince Avenue. We had 6 turnovers, Rich. We can't win like that. We had 6 turnovers, right? And we had 2 of the 6 turnovers inside of their 10-yard line. The third time we got down there on a 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2, and we did not convert a touchdown and missed the field goal. They got the ball in Georgia, in high school here. After if you got the ball on the 2 going in and you don't get anything, and you try to kick a field goal, well, they bring the ball to the 20-yard line. If you miss the field goal, right? And they got the ball, marched down and kicked the field goal. That way. But we're a much better team than that football team. With 6 turnovers, still have an opportunity to win the game. It's besides it, but season's over now. The kids fought hard. The coaches did a great job. Parents supported. Everything was good. So,
but you guys had a first this year. You said you were what, district or getting in?
We were region champs. We're region champs. First time winning a home playoff game. We won 3 rounds deep into the playoffs. So that's
fantastic.
Really good.
That's fantastic. So let me ask you something. Now with the feet wet and everything, and I know you already mentioned. You'd be interested maybe down the road in doing some coaching. I guess, you're going to call up Prime right now, maybe follow him over to Colorado.
Mr. Colorado, man, listen, if Prime needed me to come over to Jackson State, I would have went. Prime needed me to come over to Colorado, I'm going. It's an opportunity for myself, So I'll definitely go with him.
It seems, all right, so we wanted to do a short version of 27Q with the instant reaction on Deion Sanders, who Colorado announced that Saturday night he'll be the new head coach, which is a compelling hire, if you will, right? I mean, you think about it, 3 years experience, coaching at Jackson State, 27-5. What were they, 12-0? They just completed a undefeated regular season. I think they crushed Southern for the SWAC championship. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was like 43-23, 43-24. So your first initial reaction, we talked a little bit about this during the week, about, maybe the best fit. Would it have been in Auburn? Would it have been in Colorado? But at the end of the day, he leaves a historic college, if you think about it, historically Black college and the pedigree and everything, and he goes to Colorado. So what was your what's your instant reaction on that?
Well, I'm going to go back to a couple of years ago when Deion first took the job at Jackson State. Everybody gave me shit. Everybody gave me a hard time for me saying what I said he won't be there long. He's going there to get some coaching experience on the college level, and then he'll be gone. Everybody said he'll at least wait till his son graduates. He'll at least wait till Travis graduates. He'll at least this, that, and the third. At least that. All this. I'm like, you don't understand. You got coaches, you got a window. Just as a player, you have a window when somebody wants you, you take it. In prime or not. Now, everybody thought it was going to be Florida State. He was just getting some coaching experience to go over to his old, to his alma mater. But I kept telling people, like, no, he's getting experience and he's going to get an offer from a big school and he's going to take it. Everybody was crazy. He's not going to leave Jackson. He's not going to leave Jackson. He's not. I'm like, what reason for anybody to come and coach at any college at any level if you're not looking to ever move up? When Deion, and everybody kept saying it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money. Well, you could think back to the 90s when Deion Sanders was playing, DBs wasn't getting the contract that they're getting now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He got the contract with Barstool Sports. Not sure how much they're paying him to do all of the media stuff that he's doing with them. So if you think about it, he coached high school football, which he was a big part of spending money on that. He spent money at Jackson, gave a portion of his salary up, which was only, I'm not sure, it was $300 and something thousand that he was making over at Jackson, which I'm not really sure, but he gave a portion of that up to the university for facilities and so on and so forth. So what money, everybody think you have enough money. You never have enough money. I don't give a damn who you are. You don't have enough money. That's why rich people stay rich. They find things to get into it, find things to invest in, because they want to add more and more and more. It's different than being rich and creating generational wealth, right? So with Prime in this situation, he made money when he played football and baseball, but he ain't make as much as these guys are making now. So for people to say he's not going to do it for the money, that's bullshit, because it is doing it for the money. $5 million a year? Why not? Are you kidding me? Come on.
There's two schools of thought on this. And I wasn't aware that, you were getting hammered saying this a couple of years ago. I guess because everyone thought it maybe was a peculiar hire, so to speak, and they didn't realize, don't judge a book by its cover, see what he can do. And obviously look what he's done for that program, and he turned it around. Hence, he's that hot commodity. So there's going to be the detractors that are going to listen to the show and hear everything you're saying, but say, wait a second, how about every living room? Come on, man, you know this. Every living room he sat with parent or parents, I'm going to take care of your kid. I'm going to mold this man. I'm going to be there for those 4 years. You can trust me, entrust me. I'll take care of these guys. I'll groom them. They'll get an education. They'll play. We will create them. We will turn them into boys to men, right? Every conversation that's always heard. And what did he say when he got hired? It's all about the players. It's all about the school. He wants to build it up in that legacy. So when someone says something like that, do you listen to it and say, that's a crock of shit, or get over it because that's just not how coaching in the real world works?
Oh, that's what I said when he said all of that stuff. He'd go in there, man. College coaches go sit in living rooms of families and lie their asses off all the time. It happens all the time. Now, I'm not sure what Deion said when he went sit in some of these living rooms with some of these players and parents and stuff of that nature. I don't know what he said, but I do know this. He even said it himself. You either get promoted as a coach or you get demoted as a coach. Pretty much is what he said. Like, there ain't no way around it. There ain't no stuck in the middle. Jackson was stuck in the middle. You want to go up. You want to be able to make this stuff. Want to be able to make money. And he want his son to be able to play on a high level as well. I get it. Everybody talk about this, that, and the third, but everything that was said is BS. And he knows it because you coach to go up. Man, I love Prime. I do. You coach, you start to coaching, you go up. You started coaching high school because one day you want to coach college. Your kid was going to go to college, right? So now he got a job in college, which is Jackson State. Kid played for him at Jackson or shit. Now my son is playing for me at Jackson. Now these guys are offering me $5 million a year to come over and coach in, the Pac-12, Colorado? Like, what conference are they in?
I believe it's the Pac-12.
It's a Pac-12, a Power 5 school that, okay, now I get a chance to go over here and make $5 million a year and got a chance to have my son come play quarterback on a high level in a passing conference.
Yeah.
In a passing conference where quarterbacks get drafted early and Heisman winners all the time in the Pac-12 with a running gun offense, got a chance to have his son around something like that. So why not? It's the greatest situation for your kid. It's a great situation for you as a college coach. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years, 4 years from now, the Cleveland Browns or somebody is hiring Deion to come over and coach the team. I wouldn't be surprised.
So he brings instant credibility, and Colorado finished 1-11. They won one game. They were 11th place in the Pac-12. And they're getting waxed all over. So I know there was, restraints he's going to have to overcome with the transfer portal and stuff like that. Look, Deion Sanders, I think people had this in their mind. He's wasn't going to become the next Eddie Robinson. It's not a knock on him. You're talking about coaches that have been 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? I think people are looking at this, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, from an HBCU standpoint, saying, well, wait a second. I blame maybe the SWAC and maybe some of these universities because they were not able to secure a big time television deal, right? So a lot of these kids maybe don't get the exposure. These universities don't get the exposure. These coaches don't get their faces out there, so to speak. So he decided, hey, man, if I go to Colorado, Pac-12, it'll be instant credibility. I'll be able right away like that, television, ESPN, the network, ABC, whatever. So I get it from that standpoint. But I also think people look at him and say, well, look, a guy like Eddie Robinson, all those successful years. So I get kind of both schools of thought. My thing is, good for him in this facet. You've got an African-American head coach, an HBCU school, who's turned them around 27-5. You can't deny that, undefeated, win the SWAC. And now you have an opportunity to go, as you mentioned, grow your career as a head coach. I just think it's the nature. It's where we're at nowadays, right? It's just where we're at. The days of, let me come in your living room, have coffee with the family, talk about the kid. I'm going to take care of him for 4 years. That's not the world.
Yeah, that's not the way it works.
Understand what I'm saying?
It's not the way it works. It's coaches coaching and recruiting, doing whatever they got to be doing whatever they got to do to be the best recruiter.
But people are going to say he sold out. That's what they're going to say. He sold a bill of goods, and he talked a big game. But that's who Deion is, and he's a used oil salesman, snake salesman, and he's going to go in the living room and just blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, boom. Now my kid's screwed. He thought he's going to play for Sanders, and now this kid's screwed.
Well, you could always transfer. There's a transfer portal for players that play in the FCS as well. So, I mean, people don't like what's happening, and I respect Coach Prime. I do, and I respect him as a coach and a player, and I want to wish him a big time congratulations and wish him a whole boatload of luck out there in Colorado, and I hope he can get him a Pac-12 championship and end up in the playoffs within the next couple of years.
I just don't know how you can begrudge a guy if he backs it up. Like if he was 5-27 at Jackson State and got offered the job, then we can sit there and say, come on, man, what are you doing? This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
But there's that allure, right? That charisma, the credibility where he's walking the walk, he's talking the talk, and he's backing it up. But again, you know how it is. There's going to be people that are going to come out and say he flat out sold out. Now, what happens if he turns around and he makes Colorado a power in 2 to 3 years?
I mean, what's going to happen? I think that's going to happen. I think there was 1-11 like this year. I think they'll have a much better season in competing, for second, third place in the Pac-12 this year. I mean, in 2023, and I'm looking forward to see what he do.
Do you think this is the new trend, right? We saw Penny Hardaway, Memphis, Jerry Stackhouse, Vanderbilt, Juwan Howard, Michigan. Do you think this is kind of, I don't want to say the new type of era or wave where you get these guys that had really outstanding college and to some extent professional careers, in Sanders' case, Hall of Fame career, right? In the NFL, and a great college player. And, they put in their time a couple years and then boom, they go on to the bigger programs. Because who's to say maybe in 2-3 years, he leaves Colorado and he's that hot commodity and he gets offered a job in the NFL. Like you mentioned, you never know, right? Because it seems as though the NFL is starting to gear itself towards that younger, that fiery type of energetic, a little more, I don't want to say outspoken, but think of some of the head coaches in the NFL now, some of these younger guys, right? A little swag, a little cockiness, a little arrogance to them, but you have to have those things to be.
You have to have those things. You have to have those things as a player and coach. Yeah, that's the only way you get to. I mean, Prime was cockiness. That that shit runs down on his players, and they feel themselves, and they go out there and they play hard because they felt like they done talked enough, so now it's time to walk the walk, so that runs down upon his players, and I think that's a great thing. I think that's a great thing. If Deion would have still been at Jackson State when my son was coming out, I wouldn't mind him going to play for Deion. I really don't, because I think he needs a coach with a little arrogance and cockiness like that.
Okay, so let me ask you that right now. So let's just say your son was going to be a freshman next year at Jackson State, sign that letter of intent, there's your offer letter, and then all of a sudden you flip on Twitter and you see Deion's going to Colorado. What would you say to your son? Hey, it's just
it is what it is. Prime. I appreciate you giving my son an opportunity. Appreciate you giving my son an opportunity to come play for you. Thanks for all you did for the university and the kids that were there, but we're going to decommit and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe Colorado, who knows?
It's just weird how people take it so personal. Like half of these people have zero ties to Deion Sanders. Majority of them have no ties. They probably never even flipped on. I remember back in the day, Bounce and BET used to have the HBCU games on. And I probably, I can sit there and grill some people and say, hey, name some of the schools and some of the players that have come out. And
they wouldn't be able to do it.
Grambling State. That's all they're going to say. Grambling, Doug Wood. But my point is, like, it seems they're so invested. Like, what do you want? You want a coach to come in and you want him to leave a college and university better than when he walked through the front door.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And he did that. There's no question about it. I think people should just be happy for Deion and his family. They got opportunity to be on a higher level. As a Black coach, they always say they never give Black coaches a chance. Well, as a Black coach, they just brought him up to a Power 5 school, and he's going to have opportunity to grow that program from a 1-11 this year. I don't know what they did the last few years, but it's going to work out because now he got facilities. He have a budget. He can pay his coaches what they're worth.
That's another great point.
What they're worth. They're putting in all of this work. They're on the road. They're recruiting. They're getting these kids as well. So he can pay his coaches now what they're worth. The work they put in. He can afford a good coaching staff and give them their worth.
That's an excellent point. I didn't even think about that. You talk about the facilities too, the training, the athletic, everything. You think his son will come in right away and start?
Absolutely, he'll come in right away and start because the last 2 years, Colorado hadn't had anybody that's worth starting.
He put up. So I'm looking at his numbers right now. Now, again, someone's going to be watching this saying, come on, Q. Look, look at where this kid played. I don't care. The numbers speak for themselves.
Well,
70.
Now we're going to have opportunity to see him play against real competition.
Yeah. 70%.
And I'm going to tell you this. It came out of my mouth. The kid committed to FIU, I think, coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Right. His dad got a job at Jackson. He decommitted and committed to Jackson State. Right. He's been putting up all these crazy numbers at Jackson, playing against HBCUs and in a bottom level FCS competition.
Yep.
Right. Let's just say that. So now he'll get opportunity to go in. And I wasn't a true believer. I'm like, man, I want to see him play against some good schools. And so I wanted Deion to go play against the Southern Misses of the world, people like that. Now the kid will get opportunity to go out there and sling it against the USCs and UCLAs of the world. So let's see how that work out. I think he's going to be good.
Percentage, 3,400 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, total touchdowns, 6 picks, 11-0. And again, expected to follow his dad, Deion Sanders, to transfer to Colorado. I'm always fascinated with these kind of hires because a lot of people, again, there's always those two schools of thought. They look at it and it's like a train wreck. I want to slow down and I want to kind of watch. There's going to be people that say, I hope he falls flat on his face, whatever. And then
that's not going to happen though.
I don't think so. And then there's going to be people that say, okay, look, he's doing exactly like the rise, so to speak, how fast he's rising up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you need some personality, man, right? I mean, that media power out there is they're going to be ecstatic, because you're going to get some good audio cuts and clips. I'm wondering how many players now will sit there and maybe try to transfer and kind of follow him along.
Yeah, so I want to see how many players on that team that went there is going to try to follow him there. I want to see this thing unfold. I want to see the players. I know Travis Hunter's probably going to go with him, or maybe Travis might turn around and go to another school. Like, who knows? Like, Travis might turn around and come back home to Georgia. Yeah, have opportunity to do that. Travis, I mean, I don't know if he can I think Deion Sanders is good for Travis Hunter. And I think if Travis Hunter is going to leave Jackson State, I think you need to go with Prime, Colorado. There's no question about it.
Speaking of college, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State picked for the college football playoff.
Well, they're just guys that's going to be playing second fiddle to Georgia. They're just other guys got to put in there to make it work. I think they need to. So here's what I was saying, Rich. But everybody want to talk about the Power 5 conferences, right? Power 5, Power 5. This, that, and the third, right? I think that if you won your conference, you go to the playoffs. I mean, you're the toughest team in your conference.
Sure.
Right? All five champions go into the playoffs. With the highest rank of the 5 champions sit out or bye.
Okay.
Right? And then they go from there, and they think they need to add. I think they need to add the top 2 teams in each conference to make the playoffs. That would be 10. And that would be a 10-team playoff bracket.
Okay.
They need to do more than 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it logistics and scheduling and traveling and stretching it out more. But I get what you're saying. TCU holds on to the number 3 ranking after the overtime loss to Kansas State.
They didn't even win their conference.
I know.
They didn't win their conference and they're in the playoffs. That's piss poor to me.
Yeah. Ohio State's going to play Georgia, and that'll be in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Michigan will play TCU. So you have 2 and 3, and that'll be in the Fiesta Bowl.
Michigan better be ready, because that's one hell of an offense they got down there.
So let me ask you this. Georgia takes care of Ohio State. Michigan takes care of TCU. Michigan and Georgia play. And let's just say miracle, Michigan wins. Are we now starting to have that yearly conversation? What NFL team's going to go after Harbaugh?
Harbaugh is not going to be in the NFL. He's not going back to the NFL.
You don't think so?
No, he's not.
$100 million. What's he in Michigan? $200 million. I'll pay you. I'll cut the check right now.
Yeah, he's not going back to the NFL, though. I know that for a fact. He's not going back there. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to dominate in the NFL like it is in college.
And by the way, to your point, with the whole Deion, they would say, well, why don't you just stay where you're at so you can just well, you're also limiting yourself, right? You're limiting your opportunities ultimately.
Right. Deion made a good decision for him and his coaching career and his family financially, give him a better opportunity to get more top players with budgets and facilities and so on and so forth, man. People just need to let this rest and let this thing go on. And if we're going to root for Jackson, root for Jackson one way or another. So they need to not give this man a hard time and just let him move on peacefully and be great.
But that's not going to happen. When they start 1 and 3, people are going to sit there and say you made the wrong hire. But when they're 3 and 1, it's going to be crickets.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there'll ever be 3 and 1 ever again.
No,
I think what Deion Sanders did at Jackson State, getting top players to come there, is going to be a no-brainer for a 5-star guy to say, like this 5-star, 5-star just committed to Colorado. His name is Winston Watkins.
Okay.
Class of 2025 from IMG Academy, has committed within the last 8 hours to Colorado. Right. Okay. He hadn't been there 24 hours yet, and he already got a 5-star wide receiver that's committing to Colorado.
Yeah.
So this is within 24 hours. Just give the man 2 months and let's see what happens as far as players. In that he's going to get top-notch football players to go to this university, and he's going to dominate within the next 2 to 3 years. Mark my words on this beautiful Sunday. I will say that to you. In the next 3 years, he's going to dominate, and that team's going to end up in the college playoffs competing for a national championship. Just
to let people know, right, the effect there, if you buy into this, their Instagram followers on Friday was about 55,000. An hour ago, I just pulled it up. It's about 87,000. So you're adding close to 30,000 followers, which is around 32% in just 24 hours. So, that's the calm before the storm, right? When all of a sudden Prime walks in and there you go. Listen, I have no problem with it at all. I mean, you can't begrudge a guy for wanting to take a better opportunity. I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous because you back anyone to a corner and present them, hey, you're working at job A, and all of a sudden I'm going to pay you 50,000, 70,000 more to go to job B doing the same thing. What are you going to do? There's no, it sucks to say this, but it's not even, there's no loyalty. You have to do what's best for you at the end of the day and your family. That's just how it is, man. And people don't want to hear that. The days of and you're right, because now you've got those TV contests, those broadcasting deals. I'm telling you, you watch next year, they'll probably be on primetime. They'll probably be primetime games. I bet you'll see 5 of Colorado, 4 of Colorado. When was the last time you can sit there and say, oh yeah, Colorado's kicking off at 8:05? Right?
The last time they had the running back, what's his name?
Big
running back. Chris.
Didn't Eric Bieniemy go to Colorado?
I don't know. Chris.
I pulled that one out.
Man. I forgot the name of this running back, man. He was a big ass running back though. Went to Colorado. He was a little older than I am.
Did he play in the pros?
Yeah, he did. He played in the pros for a little bit. Shit, I can't remember the name, but that's the last time that they were good when he was there.
Hold on. I just pulled the best Colorado. Now this is going to bug me. Oh, Rashawn Salam.
No,
Eric Bieniemy, Philip Lindsay.
No, his guys older than me.
There's a Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, that's him.
Yeah.
That's the last time they were good, I think.
Wow. The only
a bigger running back. He was about 6'2", 235, 240, something like that, somewhere around there.
All I remember was the Cordell Stewart play. No, wait. Was that Colorado?
I don't think so.
No, no, I'm sorry. The 5 down play. Was that Colorado? Now when you do this, and I got to start pulling stuff up because
man.
I don't like to be wrong. Where'd Cordell Stewart go to college? He went to Colorado.
Yeah, he did.
He had that long Hail Mary, the Michigan. There, see, all right. I knew the ticker was still working. The Miracle in Michigan, the Hail Mary pass to defeat Michigan back in 1994. Yeah, he just uncorked it. Got about 5 before I let you get out of here. All right, Giants, about 15 minutes away, kickoff against Washington. It's going to be cold. You know how the winds are in that stadium. They're going to get some enforcements back. Washington comes in, a little juice, a little momentum. They're playing behind their quarterback. You know, is this a day where the defense is going to have to make some plays, get some turnovers, or do you think this is a Saquon?
This is definitely a day where the defense will have to stand up and play because Washington can score points, and they're clicking on all cylinders right now. So the Giants will have to come in there and try to battle that first half jolt that's going to come from Washington from them being so jacked up. I think the Giants win 21-24.
All right. So you like them by 3. I think they're getting 2.5 at home. I'm going to go with the legs and the RPO of Jones today. I think they get a couple turnovers. I think it's a 21-18 type of game and a must win for the Giants. And then we'll see how it plays out with OBJ and the likes. We'll be back here during the week. We got to get into some boxing. We had a busy weekend. We got a busy week. Yeah, I know your guy just, having a nice In-N-Out burger with his opponent last night afterwards. So we will get into that. And it's so funny. So the other day, we were talking about that. Our Russell Wilson, I'll say this, that show that we did, I'm hearing other outlets, and I don't know, they must be listening to a little bit of what we were saying because I flip on some national, and right after we post that, it's all of a sudden, well, we're hearing that people don't like to go through assistants. I said, you know what? They might be clicking on a little 27 and Q what the big man has to say and bring to the table a little bit.
They're most definitely listening now, Rich.
Oh, of course.
Not a lot of credit may not be given, but they definitely clicking in there, definitely fucking listening.
There he says it. On a Sunday, the Lord's Day. They are
Yeah.
All
So
right. We know. Listen, we it's the big bear going to hibernate for a little bit. Nap time or no?
nap
Workout in
time,
this
man. I'm
morning.
gonna go lay down and take a nap. Even though I got a great deal of sleep last night, I'm gonna lay down, probably take one about an hour and a half, and get up in the fourth quarter and see what the Giants are doing.
So you know your phone's going to go bloop, 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 bloop.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So
All right. We'll do it again during the week. Great stuff. Little emergency edition of 2070Q, getting the big man's thoughts on Deion Sanders. As always, for Brandon Jacobs, I'm Rich Quinones. We appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. Big man, say what you got to say on this Sunday.
hey, enjoy this Sunday. Beautiful day. Sit down, sit on your ass, enjoy the rest of the day, put your feet up, watch some football, drink some, you have a few drinks, maybe a little hottie toddy.
Oh, all right. Little hot toddy. All right. He's going to go a little hot toddy. Look, and he froze up on me just like that. He froze up. He's talking about the hot toddy, so he freezes up. So I will take it from here and we will close it out because he's probably having a spicy margarita, but we will certainly talk to you guys next week. Follow along 2070Q as always on our YouTube channel.